If you're a new or startup business, or you've ever actually heard the words come back when you've had more time in business, then this video is for you. Because in today's lesson, I'm going to be breaking down the 5 bank style checklists that you need for startup funding to start scaling your business. This way you can avoid any wasting time, filling out applications you know you're probably not going to get approved for. So what I want you to do right now is go grab your pen and paper, and without further ado, let's dive in. All right, ladies and gents, business owners, whoever's, really watching, I just want to give a quick disclaimer, all right? So this is just all educational, not financial advice. But if you follow this checklist, you'll know exactly what to fix before you apply. So when you walk into these banks and lenders, you're going to get a yes instead of get out of my place, okay? So this is the type of information that you're going to need, and this is the type of information that I give all of my clients and what the upper echelon business capital people are actually using, all right? So just wanted to give you that information, but let's go ahead and actually get into what you actually need. So we're going to go with step 1, which we're just going to be talking about startup business loans, because a lot of people have a lot of misconceptions when it comes to it, because they're thinking personal when they should be thinking pretty much business. So I kind of want to shift your frame a little bit, because that phrase can actually mean 3 very different things, okay? And if you choose wrong, then you're probably gonna get denied if anything else is actually right. So let's actually break them down. So when it comes to the real big 3, when it comes to the business products, of course you have lines of credit. Now this is a flexing working capital. You only pay interest on what you actively use. It's kind of like a hybrid between a loan and a credit card. So think of it like a credit card for your business, but with a little better terms in most cases. And the second one that we have are loans. And a lot of people try to go for SBA loans, but I just wanted to break that down a little more, because a lot of people think that those are like the best fit for brand new businesses because of how they advertise it, but it's literally just built for starting, buying, or expanding a business. More so heavy on the expanding, okay? But it can be also used for, like equipment, real estate, and working capital. The third one that we're going to be talking about are credit cards, okay? Now with business credit cards, they work a little different than, of course, personal credit cards, because you really want to try to utilize the terms that they give you, like 0% interest for 6, 9, 12 months, even 18 months, okay? You can always liquidate the credit cards the best way you know how. And then you could actively use that capital for, again, equipment financing, short-term, long-term rentals, getting a new truck, anything that you're trying to do for your business, okay? So these are kind of the real big 3 when it comes to it. Now, if you're truly brand new, I'm going to say that this is just my opinion from what helping a lot of clients, business clients and things like that. Pretty much credit card stacking is going to be your best fit, okay? You're going to need the right sequence, the right strategy, and then you can be able to accumulate $75, $100, even $300,000 in capital just off of credit cards alone. Now, when it comes to SBA loans or anything like that, they do sometimes fit better for kind of a little better than traditional bank products, but sometimes they're designed to help new businesses to get off the ground. But there's a lot of things behind the scenes that you actively are going to need, like certain type of capital. And you still, even though that they tell you that you really don't need a great credit score, when you're a new business, you got to have something as far as a safety net. So understand that when you're looking at the terms for SBA loans for startups. Now, with all that being said, let's go ahead and go into step 2 of how to make your business actually look fundable on paper. Okay, there are a lot of different ways on how you do it. I've talked about it 100 different ways on my channel, but understand this is a little different, because banks don't just underwrite your money, they underwrite your identity, okay? That means that before you look at your credit, they're going to look at the basics, okay? So is your business structured properly? Are your documents consistent? Is anything missing, okay? You got to understand, when it comes to these bank lenders or these hard money lenders, anything like that, they're wired to figure out what's wrong before they try to go over to what's actively working, okay? They want to give you capital, but they have to make sure that you're set up properly. So with that being said, here's a quick little checklist of what you need before you try to go in anybody's office to ask for any type of capital. You're going to need a legal entity setup, okay? We're talking about an LLC or a corporation. If you're brand new, I do think that you should go with an LLC, all right? Because it's way easier, especially for taxes, and then also for the flow-through entities. After that, you should make sure that you have your business phone number. Please try to have it separate from your personal number. Look way more organized on paper. That means, not only just having the phone number, you need the professional email and then also the website. The next thing is Your business bank account should be open and active and used consistently, because a lot of different lenders and things like that are starting to use Plaid. If you don't know what Plaid is, look it up. They can attach to your account to see what is actively going on. And if your industry requires any licenses, please make sure that they're current. Please make sure that they're all up to date so you don't have any issues, because they will definitely ask you for this. SBAs, term loans, lines of credit, you name it, especially on the business side. And if any of these are messy or mismatched, it can trigger a manual review. And then that can sometimes lead to a denial. And then you might think that it's a credit issue, but it's really just a verification problem. So you got to make sure that all of this is in order. And this is just surface level. It can go way deeper than that, but I'm just saying just surface level of what you need to make sure you have in place, okay? The next thing that I need you to do is where we're going to go on to step 3. We're going to be talking about the lenders and what they're really lending on, okay? Because here's the truth. Most startup approval leans heavily on the owners. Why? Because your business doesn't have a long track record yet. So you have to use your credit. I know a lot of you are probably about to click off of this like, yo, I'm not trying to use my credit. You know, I'm trying to get the EIN only funding. I'm trying to get the no PG, blah, blah, blah. Look, guys, if your credit is bad, you're just going to have to fix that. You're going to have to. If not, it's going to get worse for you, okay? You don't make enough income to get all these EIN only funding. I know people talk about this in 2-second videos on Instagram or whatever like that, but if you really look at the fine print of these places, they're ripping your head off when it comes to interest rates. So understand that moving forward. But if you want to do this the correct way, you can use a place like Wells Fargo, okay? I've talked about this before, but Wells Fargo kind of helps a lot of small business owners, all right? Especially with small business banking products. Now, when it comes to their business products, especially their line of credit that helps small businesses, you got to have certain things in place, okay? Now, expect to PG this business product. So again, that means if you PG, that means you have to have good credit. With good credit, you have to have a minimum of a 680 to be qualified. Not approved, qualified, okay? I do recommend you at least have a 700 or better. That's just my opinion, because me helping a lot of people get this line of credit. They always have 710s, 705, 720s. Does that make sense? They also state that for the business line of credit, any owner with at least 25% or more of the ownership will need to personally guarantee. Okay, so those owners must collectively own at least 51% of the actual business. All right. So if you own 25% or more, expect to personal guarantee, aka PG. So that means your personal credit needs to be in order, 680 to, I'll say, 710. Okay. And also make sure that your income story really matters. Like, make sure your income is really good as well. All right. Just make sure you have all of your ducks in a row. All right. You got that out the way. Cool. Now we can get into step 4, which is time in business and your active cash flow story. All right. Now, this is where a lot of startups get stuck. Wells Fargo notes that their business line products generally require at least 6 months in business. So that generally means open, okay? So if you just open your LLC, 5 minutes before watching this, you're gonna have to wait. You're just gonna have to wait. And I know the ones that just did that are asking, so what am I supposed to do in the meantime? If your business is under 6 months, you can definitely focus on the SBA pathways, okay? Or you can start building a bank reputable history. And by that means just consistent deposits, clean bank statements, no overdrafts, and for the next 60 to 90 days. Okay. And then also what you can do is you can try to build relationships with other banks as well that help on the business side. The number one thing that you can do is, what I'm gonna give you a gem, is look in your area as far as credit unions or small banks, because there are hundreds of banks that offer business products in these small towns that we never heard of and we never will hear of. But just because you open a business in their town, they'll grant you $10,000, $20,000, $30,000 just right there. So try to look in your area for that location to see if you can find that gem that can really help you, in your startup. Now, I'm not saying stop the video right here and then go apply for SBA and then also all your small town credit unions and banks. Hold on one second, because this is where we're going to get into step 5, which is preparing your documents before you apply. All right. So if you want a smooth approval, have your paperwork ready like a real operator. Okay. And no, I'm not talking about, oh, I'm trying to get no doc funding or anything. Just relax. This is the type of stuff that lenders are typically looking for before you even try to jump out the window thing that I'm talking about, the documents that you don't have. And the information I'm about to tell you, you would be surprised how many people forget this. So before you go into anybody's office, again, you need to make sure that you have your driver's license or ID, your entity documents. And by entity documents, I'm talking about articles of organization, operating agreements if needed. You need to make sure that you have some type of bank statements, tax returns. If you do, I would real more so say on the personal side, because you're not going to have any on the business side. Depending on the lender, they probably won't ask for that, but it's always good to have that. Profit and loss statements and a balance sheet. Now, if you're brand spanking new, you're not going to have any of this, so don't worry about it. This is for people that's been in business maybe they started a few months ago, but they're already making, income and things like that. So these are more for people like that. But if you haven't, don't worry about it. And lastly, I would say a funding plan, okay? Because some bank reps will sometimes ask you, how will you repay this? And here's your answer. I'm using the funds for blank, which will increase my revenue by ballpark blank. My monthly spend will be covered by my cash flow blank, okay? And I'm keeping a reserve of blank just in case. Now, I'm not saying every single, lender will ask you this, but it's always good to have this in your back pocket. So as soon as they ask you something like this, you can immediately just fire off and just say what you're going to be doing. Now, here's a bonus step that isn't required, but it can make you look even stronger, okay? Start building business credit. All right, this is a real big factor now. One simple strategy is just using regular net 30 vendors to establish trade lines and get your companies that extend short-term credit and report on-time payments to the business credit bureaus. Because we're moving into a time now where these banks and lenders, they have to give out money, but again, they want to double check and they want to make sure. So make sure that you have some type of business credit with the DMB, Experian, Equifax business, because it's going to show even more that you have that digital footprint and you did all the due diligence, can't say that fast, all the due diligence that you need. So when they look at your personal credit, 700 score, new business, and they have business credit scores, let's go ahead and get them funded. And that's what you want. So really take heed to what I'm saying, and I promise you'll have no issues moving forward. So again, just to wrap up everything I'm just telling you right now, you want to kind of look at Wells Fargo, you want to look at the SBA loans if you qualify, and then you also want to look in your area for small businesses as far as banking systems, and then also credit unions that can definitely help you. Understand that you need to have at least a 680 or better. I personally say a 700, no negatives on your credit report, and then make sure you have at least 25% or more of ownership of that business so you can personally guarantee with Wells Fargo or anybody else. If you also have those checklists as far as the entity, EIN only, and then also have kind of a rebuttal to how you will pay everything off, not saying you will need it, but it's always good to have it, you're going to have no issues getting $5, $10, $15, even $20,000 in startup funding to start your business. Because always remember, look again, fact check me. If you look at Wells Fargo, their line of credit starts at $10,000 and then goes up from there. So $10,000 can really put you in a different spot and really put you in that place where you're really scaling your business. But I know a lot of you are watching this and you're wondering, hey, Eric, I do want to scale. I do want to start my business. I want to do it right, but I'm just having issues. I tried to do it myself. It didn't work. Then don't worry. I got you. Because what I want you to do is click the link below now to sign up for a capital consultation with me and my team. What we're going to do is we're going to help you specifically for your needs, start scaling out and scheduling out your credit audit. We're going to help you actually get that Cinderella profile, as I like to call it with all my clients, to make sure that you're ready to get the funding. So instead of getting $5,000 to $10,000 in startup, you're getting $150,000, $125,000, $230,000, $320,000 in business capital, so you can really scale and you can really hit that next level before the end of the year. So again, click the link below and you can sign up for that capital consultation, and I can't wait to talk to you on the phone. I want to thank you guys for stopping by. I really hope that this helps one of you guys and it really sparks that, that motivation to really start that business, but also get organized and consistent with everything that you need so you can get the capital that you're looking for. Again, I want to thank you guys for stopping by, and until next time, ladies and gents.